Tom contributed just enough to his 401k to get the full employer match every single month for 2 years. His co-worker Mark did the same thing. Same company, same plan, same match percentage. When Tom left for a better job, he checked his retirement account balance and felt good about it. Then he read the fine print he had never actually read before. And the number he saw next was not the number he thought he owned. Mark stayed. Tom left. One of them walked away with thousands of dollars less than he thought he had, and the company that lost him kept the difference. This is the part of the 401k conversation that almost nobody is having. And it could be quietly happening to you right now. Before we get into the numbers, let's set something straight. The 401k match is genuinely one of the best things in personal finance. If your employer offers it, the math for capturing it is almost never wrong. A 50% return on your contribution before a single dollar touches the market is not something you walk away from. That part of the conventional advice is correct, and it stays correct. But here is what the always take the match crowd leaves out. The match your employer deposits into your account is not automatically yours. There is a legal mechanism sitting between you and that money, and most people have never heard of it until they are already standing in the HR office on their last day. It is called a vesting schedule, and depending on how yours works, that free money your employer has been promising you for years might be a lot less free than you think. Tom and Mark are both 29 years old. They both work at the same mid-sized company, earning $65,000 a year. Their employer offers a 401k match of 50% on contributions up to 6% of salary. That means if they each put in $3,900 a year, the company adds $1,950 every year. On paper, that is an automatic 50% return before the market does anything at all. Both of them contribute exactly 6%. Both of them receive the full match. Every month, the deposit hits their accounts. They can see it, they can watch it grow. It looks like their money. Here is what neither of them paid close attention to when they signed their onboarding paperwork. The company uses a 6-year graded vesting schedule. That means ownership of the employer match accrues in stages. After year 1, they own 20% of everything the company has ever contributed. After year 2, 40%. Year 3, 60%. Year 4, 80%. And only after 6 full years of service does the number reach 100%. Their own contributions, every dollar they personally put in, are always 100% theirs from day one. That part never changes. But the employer's side of the ledger operates on a completely different clock. Mark knows this. He read the plan documents when he started. He did not love the schedule, but he factored it into his thinking. He is planning to stay long enough that it will not matter. Tom did not think about it. He heard employer match and filed it mentally under free money. He assumed the moment the deposit showed up in his account, it belonged to him. A lot of people make the same assumption. According to a Vanguard survey, only 1 in 3 employees can correctly answer whether their plan even has a vesting schedule at all. Tom stays for 2 years and 3 months. A recruiter reaches out about a role at another company. More responsibility, a $12,000 raise, and a better long-term opportunity. He takes it. It is a completely reasonable decision. When he processes his 401k at departure, here is what the math actually shows. Over 27 months, his employer contributed approximately $4,388 to his account on his behalf. At 2 years and 3 months of tenure, Tom is 40% vested. That means he owns $1,755 of what his employer put in. The remaining $2,632 gets forfeited back to the plan. Gone. The company does not lose it. It gets reallocated within the plan, often used to offset future employer contributions. Tom thought he had a retirement account worth one number. He walked out with something meaningfully smaller, and the job he left for had no match at all for the first year. This is not a rare situation. It is happening at enormous scale across the American workforce right now. According to PSCA data from 2024, only 44% of employers that offer a 401k match provide what is called immediate full vesting, meaning the match belongs to employees from the moment it is deposited. For the other 56%, there are conditions, time requirements, schedules, cliffs. About 10% of companies use 3-year cliff vesting, where you own exactly 0% of the employer match until the day you hit 3 years of service, and then you own 100% all at once. Leave on day 1094. You forfeit everything. Leave on day 1096. You keep it all. The difference is 48 hours. Another 15% use 5-year graded schedules, and 14% use 6-year graded schedules like Tom's employer. That means a meaningful share of the American workforce is operating under vesting timelines that can stretch more than half a decade before they fully own their employer's contributions. And here is where the collision happens. The Bureau of Labor Statistics reported in 2024 that the median tenure for private sector workers is 3.5 years. For workers between the ages of 25 and 34, the exact demographic most actively building their retirement savings, median tenure is just 2.7 years. Let that settle for a moment. The most common vesting schedules in the country require 3 to 6 years of continuous service. The most common job tenure for younger workers in the private sector is under 3 years. A significant portion of the workforce is changing jobs before their match even fully vests, and most of them have no idea it is happening. A Yale Law Journal study found that 1.8 million plan participants forfeited compensation in a single year because they left before full vesting. The total value of those forfeitures across 909 plans analyzed in 2022 was $1.5 billion. Not a rounding error, $1.5 billion. Now let's run the full numbers on Tom and Mark to see exactly what this costs over time, because the forfeiture is just the beginning of the story. After leaving, Tom joins a company with no 401k match in year 1. He keeps contributing on his own, putting in 6% of his new salary, now $77,000. Without a match, his annual contribution is $4,620. At a 7% average annual return, his balance grows steadily, but there is no multiplier. Mark stays. By year 3, he is 60% vested. By year 4, 80%. At year 6, he hits full vesting. Every dollar his employer has ever contributed is now legally his, unconditionally. His match has compounded alongside his own contributions for 6 years without interruption. Let's put real numbers on the 10-year picture starting from the day Tom left. Tom's situation, he lost $2,632 at departure. He spent year 3 at a company with no match, costing him roughly $1,950 in employer contributions he would have received. Over 10 years, assuming he eventually lands at a company with a comparable match, his retirement account at a 7% annual return sits at approximately $112,000 to $118,000 in total value, including his own contributions and whatever match he has managed to accumulate since. Mark's situation, he never interrupted the compounding. His employer contributions vested fully at year 6 and have continued since. Over the same 10 years from the point Tom left, Mark's account sits at approximately $141,000 to $149,000. The gap is somewhere between $25,000 and $35,000. Not because Mark earned more money, not because he is a better investor, because the structure of his plan rewarded continuity, and he stayed long enough to collect the reward, while Tom did not realize there was a countdown running the entire time. Compound interest does not care about your job offer. It does not care about your raise. It keeps moving in whichever account it is sitting in. Here is the part that makes this genuinely complicated, because this is not a simple never leave your job argument. That would be a bad argument. Career mobility is real. Opportunities matter. Sometimes a new role with no match still beats staying somewhere that is limiting your growth, your income, or your sanity. The point is not to chain yourself to a vesting schedule. The point is to know the schedule exists before you make the decision. There is a calculation that belongs in every job negotiation and every career conversation that almost never happens. Before Tom accepted that offer, here is what he should have known. Leaving at 27 months costs him $2,632 in unvested match. Waiting 9 more months until he hits the 3-year mark, even under a 6-year graded schedule, would have pushed him to 60% vested, saving an additional $875. The math of a short wait can be significant. Some people call this the golden handcuff. The term usually gets applied to stock options and executive compensation, but vesting schedules are golden handcuffs for everyone, at every salary level, in virtually every industry. And unlike stock options, nobody gives you a memo explaining exactly what you are wearing. Mark still has his own decision to make eventually. At year 7, a startup reaches out to him. exciting product, real equity upside, and leadership opportunity he has been waiting for. He is now fully vested. Every dollar the company has put into his 401k is his without condition. There is nothing left to lose on the retirement account side. His decision is now purely about the future, not about recovering something he has already earned. That is a fundamentally different negotiation. He takes the job. He rolls his 401k into an IRA. He walks out holding 100% of what was built over 7 years. No forfeitures. No surprises. The timeline he chose was not arbitrary. He built it with his eyes open. That is the actual strategy. Let's get specific about what you need to actually do with this information, because vague awareness is not the same as knowing your number. The first thing to do is find your summary plan description. Every 401k plan is required by federal law to provide this document to participants. It contains your vesting schedule in plain language. If you have never read it, you do not actually know whether the match in your account belongs to you. The document is usually available through your HR portal or plan provider. Look for the section on employer contributions and vesting. The second thing is to calculate your current vested percentage. If you have been at your company for 2 years under a 6-year graded schedule, you own 40% of your employer's contributions. If the company has put in $8,000 over that time, your vested amount is $3,200. The unvested amount is $4,800. That $4,800 is your exit cost, and it is real. Third, when you are evaluating a job offer, add this question to your list. Ask the recruiter what the new company's vesting schedule is. Ask whether there is a waiting period before the match begins. These are not unusual questions. They are the questions that separate people who are optimizing their total compensation from people who are just looking at the salary line. And fourth, if you are close to a vesting milestone, run the math on timing. Cliff vesting plans create situations where waiting 30 to 90 additional days before a departure can be worth thousands of dollars. The 9 months between Tom's actual departure and his next vesting threshold cost him nearly $900. Most job offers have some flexibility on a start date. Use it. There is one more thing that never gets said in the always take the match conversation. The match is a tool your employer uses strategically. It is generous and it is real, but it is also designed to reduce turnover. The vesting schedule is not an accident or an administrative quirk. It is a retention mechanism. The plan is structured so that leaving costs you something. That is intentional. Understanding that does not make the match bad. It makes it legible. You can see clearly what the employer is offering, what they are asking for in return, and whether the terms make sense for where you are in your career. Tom took the match. He contributed consistently. He did the part everyone tells you to do, but he never read the fine print that told him exactly what the match actually required from him before it was fully his. He left with less than he thought. Mark did the same thing Tom did, except he knew the schedule. He made his decision about when to leave based on the full picture, not just the salary and the opportunity. He walked out with everything. Same company, same plan, same contributions. One of them optimized. The other assumed. The free money is real, but it only costs you something if you do not know when it is actually free.